you're a world champ in the WNBF, and
Yes.
you're also a classic physique pro.
Yeah.
But you allow yourself to eat cookies and in the off season. So how do you handle that?
I might have it later on the day, but I never have a free meal before my workout. Some days you might see me squat 5 plates aside for volume, and then some days you might see me squat 3 plates with a 1-2 hold and a 4-second negative. It just depends.
Your dad, did he encourage you to work out, or did he make you work out?
He didn't make me work out. I just admired him working out in the backyard. I was skinny and a weak kid. I used to be like bullied in school. I wanted to find an outlet to kind of feel strong.
Has bodybuilding made you like stiffer or tighter or anything like that you noticed?
It hasn't.
How much emphasis do you put on posing?
That's everything, honestly. And like I said, I just did the Arnold Amateur because I just thought it was just a great competition, right?
And that's where you got your pro card.
I didn't know that was like the second hardest show to become a pro at. Guys were saying I can't become a pro because I'm natural. Oh, you can't place top 10 in the IFBB, and then I did. I don't feel like I'm better than anybody. I just love to compete.
So you're pretty dedicated to your water bottle, huh?
Very dedicated.
You have a relationship with it?
I pretty much do. Like I know some people do like the hydro flasks and stuff like that. I just carry this. I'm old school. I just carry a gallon with me.
Got to try to stay on the microphone.
You can just adjust it. There you go.
It's to the point to where if I don't have the gallon with me, I just feel like I'm naked almost. Like I don't feel right.
You have to drive back home if it's like not it's not riding shotgun next to you. You're like,
No, I've drove home just to
get your water bottle.
Well, especially if I'm halfway in, and I like to be on point with my intake. I wouldn't buy a new one. I'll just go home and get the one I already had.
It's like a security blanket a little bit.
Yeah.
I got like, for me, it's my little
like a pacifier.
It's my little wrist things. You know what I mean? When I leave home and my naked wrists, it's like I got to go back home to get
Like, this
my
is
wrist
not-
blanket.
This is gonna be a bad day.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe in that. Like Lucky Charms and karma and all that. Like if my water is with me, I feel like I just feel like my day is not going to go as well as I want it to. You know, I mean, we all have our morning routines, meditation, journaling, and fasted cardio, whatever you want to do.
Beating off.
You know. I mean, if it helps with your serotonin, if it helps with your serotonin release.
If you're gonna beat off, do so in the sun in the morning. Help your melatonin.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know some studies say that that's a good thing. It helps calm your mind. And listen, I like to wake up and feel like I'm like going to attack the day. I don't want to wake up and I'm like,
too relaxed.
Yeah, like I'm my body's off and I feel like I don't want to get out of bed.
I did it again. Damn it.
What'd you say?
When you wake up in the morning, you want to be a little like uptight that you have to like go and like solve the day and go conquer, right? And if you jerk off first thing in the morning, it's going to take some of the spunk out of the day.
Well, there was a study that said like as a man you should wake up with like morning wood.
Yep.
But you should use that on being productive. You shouldn't use that and like
get rid of it.
Yeah, just get rid of it. Yeah. That morning wood's pretty much telling you like, okay,
Let's go.
Go to a coffee shop and start to journal with this fucking heart on.
Yeah, like here's a boost of testosterone. Go do something with it.
Yeah.
Go get your cardio. Go meditate. Whatever. Yeah. So
Do you in your bodybuilding prep and stuff? Do you do a lot of cardio? Do you mess with that?
yeah. So I still do it even when I'm not competing. It's just like I said, serotonin. It's just good. It helps. I don't even be on my phone. I started like months ago where I don't even touch my phone. Good. I put on like do not disturb, and I extend it to like I think 9 or 10, so I can get in the morning. I don't look at it. I wake up and I just like almost like ask myself how I'm doing. Like, Kendahl, how you doing today? You doing Because I feel like I used to never do that. I always give it to my clients.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, I always ask my clients how they're doing, but I never ask myself how I'm doing. So I kind of give myself that time. I do my walk, and I listen to like now when I'm on prep and I'm on the Stairmaster, I might listen to more upbeat music, but I'm listening to a lot of like lo-fi, however you want to call it.
Yeah,
lo-fi beats, dude, on the treadmill in the morning, and my mind just roams, and I let it kind of free and just because they say like the music you listen to shapes up how you think and how you act. So I always try to keep my music like calm, steady, and then when I hit about 11 o'clock or whatever, then I might, I'll look at my phone and then I'll work out to some music. But I always give myself that morning time to just steady music, low music, walk, talk to myself a little bit.
Some of that like newer stuff that you've been messing with, or you've been doing that for a while?
I think since this year started, I've been doing that. It's helped a lot, man, with my mental, how I don't react to things off emotion like I used to. I recognize things and I like take it in and then I go from there. I don't go off emotion or go off like intention. I go off like logic, and I feel more relaxed in how I go about people or just anything. You know, because I deal with people all day. So, you know, so if someone gets rowdy about something or whatever, I know how to go about it to where I speak in their interests and not put myself in the scenario and stuff. You know, I feel like when I wake up and I'm on my phone immediately and whatever, my mind is not
scattered.
You know, yeah, it's all over the place. I'm not thinking about what my day is consist of. I'm not thinking about myself. I'm like really reactive, you know. So, but yeah, it's been a routine for me for quite some time to just wake up, do a walk, like low intensity, steady state, or even the Stairmaster or something like that. And you know, and then some days I don't do the walk or I don't do a Stairmaster, but I still do something, yoga, stretching.
Yeah.
Is
the cardio stuff something that you maintain in your off season too? Like, do you? Yeah.
I don't go as lengthy as like 40, 50-minute Stairmaster, but I do like a nice 20, 30-minute walk, or I do Stairmaster for a little bit. But nothing to where it's lengthy as prep.
Yeah, and you do train people too in person, so you're also on your feet training your clients all day long, right?
I'm getting my steps in.
Yeah, and
so I'm really active. I'm really mobile, and I train average about 5-6 people a day. So I'm really mobile, really active, and I'm on my feet when I train. I don't sit down and all that kind of stuff. So I am pretty active. So I do get my cardio in as much as possible. I never really go without cardio to some extent. That's even good. You know, I believe that besides the heart health and the visceral health, I believe just cardio is just good to just maintain metabolism and just overall like cognitive thinking and stuff like that. I just feel like I'm really rigid when I'm just lifting.
Maybe gives you a little more freedom with your nutrition too. Like when you're off season, do you allow yourself to eat a little bit free here and there?
Oh yeah. Especially them cookies, man. Them cookies is my kryptonite. But
is normal cookies, or are they like protein cookies, or just normal cookies?
No, I'm talking about normal cookies. Yeah.
Okay.
But you ever been to Ginger Elizabeth's? That's in Sacramento. It's amazing.
Downtown. It is good.
Yeah, it's so good. It's got some of the best damn cookies in the world.
It's really fucking good.
I feel like I've tried a lot of cookies here, but I haven't tried that.
Oh, it's good. Yeah.
What's like when Elizabeth?
Ginger Elizabeth's. When you when you pick up a cookie and you feel like the weight of it, when it's heavy, it's gonna be a fucking
so they're heavy cookies. They're not like the small snickerdoodle. Like,
right. It's nice and heavy. It's like got like a lot of butter in it.
Okay, I might try it out.
What is that place that has the ice cream sandwiches here in Sacramento?
Oh yeah,
Cream.
Is it cream?
Cream.
He jumped on that.
Listen, if it's cookie related, I'll answer right away. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but there is that other place that Smokey goes to, right?
Parlor.
Is that the one you're
Parlor.
Parlor.
Vince Parlor?
No, already.
Oh, Parlo's so good, bro.
See, now that's a leg day. Listen, because without leg day, that's heavy. It's really, really heavy on non-leg days. Yeah. Oh, did you like crumble?
I haven't had crumble.
I've had it before.
I should have, but I can't say I've had it.
Do you like insomnia cookies? Insomnia?
I haven't had it either. Heard of it, but I haven't heard of it.
Okay.
I'm not a cookie monster like you, bro. Okay. like I've had some cookies, but I haven't had all of them.
Listen, insomnia cookies. That's all I gotta say.
Insomnia?
Insomnia. So they're called insomnia because they stay up. They
do have it in Davis. Yeah.
They have it here in downtown Sac. They're called insomnia cookies that they open till like 2 a.m.
Right.
I remember when I was in college, there was this donut shop I go to at like 3 a.m. sometimes. I forgot what it was. It's also like in downtown, but they were open till like 3 or 4, and I'd get donuts from there. That's when I was young. So
see, a donut at 4 a.m. sounds like it just sounds weird.
It's disgusting. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't think this is a good habit. It's just what I used to do.
Yeah.
Bulking.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, there it is.
What?
Well, that's the ice cream sandwich. But if you go to the
Insomnia Cookie now makes the ice cream sandwiches.
Yeah, if you go to the regular cookie aisle, they have s'mores.
I'm so happy right now.
Look, cookie aisle.
Look, yeah, and then scroll down a little bit. Look at that. You got s'mores. Dude. You got snickerdoodle. You got like confetti. Look, confetti cake.
Oh,
vegan birthday cake.
Well, they have they have like normal cookies there that are like normal cookie size.
Well, they have vegan and regular.
Well, and they have giant cookies.
Good that they have regular.
Dude, it's filled. It's filled.
Reese's.
That sounds so good. Reese's
peach cobbler.
Shit.
Hey, listen, they have giant cookies that are like the size of like a pie.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've seen those too, right?
Oh yeah. I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them. I've ate them too.
Oh yeah. I gotta get a better look at this one though. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
It looks just like that. It's not it's not like sugar coated for a picture. It looks just like that.
Man. This is amazing. So this is actually interesting, Kendahl, because like you're you're a world champ in the WNBF, and you're also a classic physique pro.
Yeah.
But you allow yourself to eat cookies and shit in the off season. You have some freedom. You're not. It doesn't seem that you're super rigid. So how do you handle that? Also, not allowing yourself to like overindulge and get too heavy, because some people, they can't even allow themselves to sniff cookies, or else they'll gain 20 pounds.
Yeah. I think it's because like we talked about the body types and stuff like that. I think with my body type and with me like just having a naturally like fast metabolism, I can naturally just kind of just burn things really easy. And I think it's also because like I'm really active.
You've been active for a long time too. Like you were a wrestler for multiple years.
Exactly. So like, and I'm pretty committed to a certain activity level. Like I'm highly active in my day. I'm not sedentary.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting around. I'm very mobile. Even in my work life, I'm just moving all the time. So, but the thing about it is that like I eat fairly clean. I cook my food. I eat. So when I have cookies and stuff, I'm not having cookies and then I'm having In-N-Out and Smash Burger and brunch every morning. I'm still eating like egg whites, spinach, with like some tomato, where I'm still cooking my foods and stuff. I do allow myself like a free meal after my workout. So on my off season, I pretty much eat similar stuff to prep. I just have a free meal after I work out, meaning...
And it's always only post-workout for you.
Yeah, it's always post-workout. So when I have that, like, that, they call it the anabolic window, that little gap I have when my metabolism...
Taking full advantage.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. So when my metabolism is at its peak and my heart rate's slowing down to when my body's, like, has to work harder, that's when I allow myself, like, a burger, fries, or sushi and stuff like that, because that just goes down with it. So, yeah. And then if it's a cookie, same thing, post-workout, or... I might have it later on the day, but I never have a free meal before my workout. I always have it after the workout. So I pretty much eat fairly clean until the workout. Then after the workout, I eat some junk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think you like have like maybe a faster metabolism than another person, or do you think that you just always been very active? Because it sounds like you're super active. I'd imagine that you train with a lot of intensity.
Yeah.
Plus you're doing cardio.
Yeah. So I train fairly intense. I train with high heavy loads. I train with like high heavy loads. I train with like high volume. My rep range is usually around 10 to 15. Short rest periods, depending on if it's a compound lift or if it's like just something isolation or volume or.
So even with your like squats and stuff, you keep those fairly high rep. You don't really do 3s, 5s.
So here and there, I do a 5x5. I might go for like a high like RPM, or I might go for like a 90% like weight load of like usually it's a compound lift, like a squat or a bench. But I do train hybrid. I like to train heavy and then volume. But if it's heavy, it might be like a week and then the next 2-3 weeks volume. So I go heavy, but I fairly like to structure my programming to where like I gradually go heavy. Then I might do a deload, or I might just do like low rep heavy weight and then go back to volume. But I like to train like with isometrics, cluster sets, drop sets. Yeah, I'm a very volume guy. You might see me in the gym just doing a fly really steady with a 1-2 hold isometric. I'm very like,
you like to feel things out a bit.
Yeah,
too.
I'm very critique with like the technique aspect of everything. I might not. Some days you might see me squat 5 plates aside for volume, and then some days you might see me squat 3 plates with a 1-2 hold and a 4-second negative. It just depends, but I'm very much into volume, which is why I think my muscle abilities are really round and shape, and I have good lines and conditioning even as a natural athlete, just because. I like to train like short rest periods, high intensities, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah,
we had Chris Elkins on yesterday, and he was saying that he liked to, with the first movement, he usually liked to have that be like a barbell movement.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, like main movement. Do you kind of follow something similar where the first exercise is going to be something where you can load up with weight a little bit more?
Yeah. So my exercise selection kind of goes like that way. I usually start with like a unilateral movement. I usually start with like I think there's like, what's like five plates and a 25, I think.
Yeah, it just says over 500.
Yeah, I think that was like 5 plates and a 25. Yeah.
Something like a squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press might be like the first movement, huh?
That was like 2021, yeah.
Watch this. Barefoot, slow, clean.
Good form, below parallel.
I squatted barefooted as a kid, so I kind of grew into it. Like my dad had a Bowflex, and he just had a kettle. He had a Bowflex and one kettlebell and one barbell. Yeah, and I didn't have much knowledge on technique, but I knew how to squat, so I just like squatted with the barbell. And sometimes I put the kettlebell on the barbell on the side, and squat with that. But I've always squatted barefooted. I've never really. So when I grew into squatting stronger, I'll be in the gym at 24 barefooted. Like I have socks on. Sometimes I don't have socks. Like.
Guys, summer is here and it's time to get some new footwear. I'm not talking about these. Flip-flops suck. I used to love them, but they are messing with the way you walk and they're actually messing with your feet because every step you take in a flip-flop shortens the big toe, which can have some long-term ramifications. That's why we have been wearing our Power Sandals, and this is actually version 2 of our Power Sandal, which is live now at powerproject.live. It is 0 drop. It has a German leather footbed, so it's comfortable as fuck. It has a Vibram sole, which is going to last you thousands of miles to walk in. You can run, you can hike, you can walk, you can lift in these sandals. And because of the heel strap, it's going to stay connected to your foot so that when you run, which you can literally run in these sandals, or when you walk, every step is just like if you were walking barefoot. We love these things, and that's why we've partnered with Shama to make our version 2, which is much cleaner than our version 1. Both versions are on the powerproject.live website, so get your new summer footwear, the Power Sandals. Peace.
Your dad, did he encourage you to work out, or did he make you work out?
He didn't make me work out. I just admired him working out in the backyard.
Yeah. He'd work out in the backyard.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, the backyard, he had a Bowflex. You know what? Even the Bowflex had the lat pull down, the leg extension.
It's
and then
cool. Like a lot of people had that piece of equipment but didn't use it.
I know.
Your dad used the shit out of it?
Yeah, he used the shit out of it. So I was, you know, I was skinny and a weak kid. I used to be like bullied in school and stuff. So I would kind of I wanted to find an outlet to kind of feel strong, you know? And then my dad used to he was sweating, he was working out, and I was, you know, I would tell dad, like, you know, like if he can teach me, whatever. And
he has some old pictures on his Instagram too from when he was
I probably
younger.
do. I'm probably somewhere in there. And then my dad, he just taught me, I was young. He taught me push-ups and just, you know, like a squat with a kettlebell, just like light stuff, right? And then,
how young do you think you were probably when you started? Like when did you start getting physical? If
12?
you remember. 12? Okay.
I think 12 and like 16 was when I started lifting weights.
Okay.
Like weights, like, you know. But 12, I used to be excited to come up after school and just like go to the backyard. Yeah. And I would, you know, just because like I said, elementary school was like bad. I was like bullied and I used to get my lunch money taken and stuff like that. So I just at middle school and high school changed. That changed, but because I did wrestling, I became team captain. Yeah, that was like my first time feeling like I was.
No one's bullying me anymore.
Yeah, but that was my first. That was my first time I felt like I was a leader. Yeah, like because I was of authority. I was like people were looking up to me. I would tell guys, "Hey, no, it's time to practice. We got to warm up." I never felt that as a kid, right? But as a kid, my outlet was working out. I used to go to the park and just run and just do push-ups and stuff. And then I got a membership at 24 when I was 16. That's when I kind of got more into lifting. But like how I train now, to go back to the question, with my exercise selections, I usually start with like a unilateral movement for isolation, just to get blood flow, like pre-exhaustion and then muscle. And then I would go to a compound lift because that's, you know, more exertion, more energy based. So I would go to like a military press or a bench or a squat or something like that, bed of a row or something. And then I would go to more cable dumbbell based stuff. And usually the last thing I do was like something really isometric, like really isolated. Like I might finish it off with a low high fly or just something to where it just involves some sort of cable movement. Yeah. But I usually put all the dumbbell, barbell stuff early on in the workout just to have more output in it, more performance. And then that's like my main event. And then everything from there is not as heavy, just like 70%, maybe 75, you know? So
I think it makes a lot of sense. I think there's a lot of people that kind of prescribe to that, but I just also think, unfortunately, like our general public just doesn't really understand lifting. They don't know much about it. They're kind of scared to go into the gym. And so I think it's always good to kind of point out like how are we navigating the gym? Because I think some people walk in, they see all this equipment, they got no idea what to do with any of it.
Yeah. And I have some guys who, you know, I train, you know, who aren't as egotistical, who are willing to learn. And a lot of guys don't know how to work out. A lot of guys just go based off of what you see, the bro science and the you know, Instagram, YouTube, and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, you know, hit bench like this, and then you'll get gains. So some guys believe it because they only know what they know, so they believe it and they end up running with it. And I've had guys who can squat 3 plates, but then I show them the proper form and they can barely squat a plate. So it's just, you know, because a lot of guys use muscle. They don't use their hip extensors. They don't use their hips, their glutes. A lot of guys don't train their butt. A lot of guys don't even know what what hip extensions are in the hips. They just want to just lift it up and put it down.
Somebody's doing a squat and they're using their back a lot and they're
Exactly.
not getting really low.
Right.
And you're like, well, that's not really training your quads or your butt. What are you doing?
Exactly. And they got knee valgus. They buckle their knees and they end up compensation and stuff like that. But then you tell them how to put their knees out, how to sit the back on their butt, their heels, how to properly go out, engage the core. Because, you know, I built a strong core from squatting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to not do any ab workout when I was younger until like later on. I just did leg lifts and stuff. But when I was first competing, I barely trained abs. I deadlifts and squats. It was how I got my core. My core would be sore from doing that kind of stuff.
But if you also look at the way like you're squatting and deadlifting, again, it's like, it's one thing. If people were to scroll down on your page, your form never breaks down.
Exactly.
You're never lifting such heavy weight that like you're ending up buckling on a squat or you have knee valgus, or when you're doing a deadlift, your torso ends up coming forward when you're deadlifting. Everything with you is spot on, and you maintain that even when you go to heavier loads. And if somebody keeps that in mind as they lift, they're not going to be able to lift as much weight, but they'll be able to get much more activation from it because they're being more careful with their form.
Exactly. And I told guys like that supersedes just being alpha and ego lifting, and it supersedes it. Because, you know, I've seen guys in the gym grunting and yelling and some guys will ask me like, "Are you done with that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just finished." Oh, like keep the weight on. I'm like, and in my mind, I'm like, "You sure about that, buddy?" I'm not judging. I'm not judging. It's like I just look at them. I'm like, "Are you sure about that?" And I
not as big, right?
Yeah, and I don't judge. Like I've seen guys who aren't big who can lift some weight.
Oh yeah.
But I'll walk away and I'll peep. I'll like, you know, I'll look at the performance, and it's just bouncing and jerking. It's just like was that to look good in front of me? Like I don't get it. It's just drop the weight. Like you don't look weak. You don't look less alpha. Just drop the weight and pick a weight that you can control it. I never understood why guys gotta feel like superior in the gym. Like it's just because you'll leave with no pump. You'll leave with no.
Right.
You'll wake up and you look the same. Like, you know, I don't know. I don't get it.
With bodybuilding, especially, you know, you compete in many tested federations, and we'll get into the natural look in a little bit because I think that's really fascinating. It's very common for bodybuilders, especially like the IFBB Pro guys, the guys that are enhanced, for them to lose a lot of athleticism. Do you feel like you've lost some athleticism? Like, do you feel as mobile and as maybe, I'm not even sure if when you were younger, if you were more athletic or felt better, but has bodybuilding made you like stiffer or tighter or anything like that you noticed?
It hasn't. Like, and I wrestled. Like, wrestling, we were big on mobility. We were big on like we used to like, you know, give each other massages and we used to like, you know, I learned how to do the splits from wrestling. Like wrestling we were big on like flexibility, mobility, because we were all about when you're like about to get pinned, you got to know how to bridge. You got to know how to properly get out of that positioning. And that involves a lot of mobility in the neck and the hips and stuff. So I think wrestling was huge on that. And I kind of kept that like religiously. So I definitely still incorporated stretching and stuff like that. And then because when I do my posing performances, I'm hitting, you know, like that side lunge pose.
There's a lot of mobility involved.
I'm still hitting that.
And
I'm still hitting that really low, and I'm still hitting certain poses that guys can't hit really good, because I think me incorporating the stretches and stuff from wrestling helped a lot. So if anything, I feel like I'm more mobile now than in wrestling, because posing helped a lot with that.
I think it's a testament to how you're training too. Like that one squat video. Like you're not cutting any corners. You're not. It's not a shallow squat. The weight's not too heavy. Even though it was heavy, it was a challenging weight. It was impressive weight. But you're moving it really well, and I think that's a good thing for a lot of people listening to kind of hone in on.
Yeah, and I'm big on myofascial release. I'm big on like, you know, like foam rolling, like, you know, medicine ball, like Theracanes. Like I'm just big on release work. What was this, 2011, I think? Yeah, this is good old days. This is when I was just like a kid, dude. I was just off of just thrill and just adrenaline.
Hungry.
Yeah.
You were just hungry back then.
Yeah, but this was I think this was like when I'm my first year. But Sac City is when I started getting like, that's when I got really, really good with it. But this is kind of when I was just hungry. As you can see, I was athletic, but I wasn't bubbly and you know,
I
was
thinner there.
Yeah, I was just athletic, you know, and then I forgot. I think this match was like a crazy match. I think I was just
this
like,
guy's giving you a good battle. Do Would you like to get back into any sort of grappling at some point?
I was thinking about doing like an AAU wrestling tournament over the because you could do that. You could I can get my card. Yeah, I can get my card right now and just look online and see what open tournaments are there. Wow. And there's guys of all ages with shorts and shirts just in there with a bunch of youngins and just wrestle. Yeah. So I was thinking like just hop in one.
Yeah,
I still got my singlet too.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. I wish I did wrestling when I was younger because like your body still probably remembers all of those takedowns, all the ways to move. You know what I mean? That's just a sick skill set to have in your back pocket.
It is, yeah. And I know how to fully control someone's body by just the wrist.
Yeah.
no. Wrestling, like if I have your wrist, I can have full control of your body. Like and there's tactics to where I can barely move, have your wrist, and I can like literally know how to like pin you down and all that kind of stuff. Like wrestling is something that like it's a great defensive tactic. Bro. Like if someone clinches me or someone, I know exactly how to go about it. It's like an instinct. It's really, and I was big on Jordan Burroughs was my inspiration, and he was just in the blast double. So I literally learned how to blast double, where you just pretty much just pierce your head in someone's abdomen, grab their legs and take them down. But he would do it to where he would sweep their ankles and they would be flying in the air. So I learned how to master it, and then, I don't have it on YouTube though. But there was matches where like I made a collage and it was like blast doubles all day, just setting it up, grabbing their legs, and guys would just be flying. And if you hit it really hard enough and know how to like push off the back heel, you can really pierce someone's stomach and like to where they lose air and then they can't help but be on their back.
You know what, Andrew? If you look at Kendahl's page, the very first video at the top, it's pinned. You were talking about your posing.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that like, even when I watch, for example, classic Physique pros, or when I even watch guys in natural bodybuilding, one thing that irks me is I'm like, dude, why can't you fucking pose? How are you a pro and you don't know how to pose? Right. And like, I think that's one thing that's really cool that you're able to showcase.
Right.
Not only are you like, first off, you have a great look, but the way that you show, the way that you pose, everything is really structured well. So like, how much emphasis do you put on posing?
That's everything, honestly. Like posing to me is everything because I feel like everything's about presentation and everything's about like how you properly present yourself to like a degree. So with me, it's like, you know, especially in a game to where I know like that's really taken seriously. I'm someone that like I've always, and I've been inspired by like Terrence Ruffin, Breon Ansley, like guys who have a very poetic way of presenting themselves.
Yeah.
So I was all about just like making sure, like even WNBF, like I was always about like making sure I present myself with a good first impression, because I know that first impression is everything. Like I might not be able to be in the first call out because I didn't present myself the best I could in 15 seconds. Yeah. So I try to always, and I have a very athletic frame. I try to showcase what my best features are. Like my frontal bicep, putting my foot out with the toe and the heel up, and then kind of like pushing them out a little more. Really shows my vastus lateralis really good. My teardrop is really good. So I would always insinuate like my features, like my waist and my quads and stuff like that. So I've seen guys who pose stiffly, and I'm not captivated by it. So if I'm not captivated by it, how are the judges gonna be captivated by it? And I would see guys like Breon Ansley, who it's like you can't help but to look at him because he's just so poetic with the way he poses. So, and
that's one thing that I think a lot of guys like they'll learn how to do their mandatories, but then a lot of these guys don't learn how to chain poses together. Like if you look at how you're posing, okay, you hit the poses, but then look at your transition between one pose to the next. And it's like when I was showing guys how to pose, I'm like, learn how to put these things together, or you're gonna look like a robot and you're gonna be overshadowed by the guy who might have not as good a physique, but he just presents himself better. Yeah. You got to learn how to fucking present yourself.
No, it's an illusion. It's I've seen guys blocky, and they just know how to twist their waist and turn their torso and do certain things
it's
about.
It's hard to do. You point your hips one way and point the shoulders the other. It can be difficult.
It is. Yeah, I've seen guys who are boxy who can they know how to present themselves to where they present their physiques really really well. Yeah. You know, and I would see guys on like, and I think Terrence Ruffin talked about this. He said, you know, you're being looked at in between poses. So like, you know, when you go from your frontal bicep, they might say back double bicep. So like, oh yeah, that was kind of it. Like got me viral. I think that one had like 40,000, and I think I almost had like 1,000 comments on that thing. You know, guys want to talk about, you know, he's a joke, he's not natural, and then you got guys defending me in the comments and stuff. So that video really blew me up because like Arnold Amateur. And like I said, I just did the Arnold Amateur because I just thought it was just a great competition, right?
And that's where you got your pro card.
I didn't know that was like the second hardest show to become a pro at besides Olympia Amateur. That's the second hardest show to become a pro at. So, and I think what made me so relaxed in it, because I didn't go into it like I needed a pro card. I just went into it. I'm just competitive, dude. I just like competition. So I just did my thing, and this is the first my class of physique show. So I didn't know they had.
That was your first class of physique show on NPC.
Yeah. So I didn't know they had 30 seconds to present themselves like this. So I just walked out there and just kind of like this whole thing was like freestyling. Like because I didn't know you had to like individually go up there and do 30 seconds. So I just did my thing and just But I didn't know that show was that big. The stage was beautiful, dude. Like and that stage is huge. That's a stage you want to compete in. Like
it's a different level of production.
It is. Like they had the strobe lights on the bottom of the stage coming out. The stands was packed. It was, dude, it's like a football stadium. Like it was that big. And like, so, and I'm familiar with like the lights and like I remember like college wrestling, like we came out of a tunnel, like in state, and we used to like come out of a tunnel of a dome, like NBA players, and like you would look around and you would just see people just like literally with their banners up and stuff. And there's one mat in the center of now, Masters, they had like 8 around the stadium, but State, there's like 1. So you got one mat on there. You're the only, you and the guy next to you is the only one being looked at. So it's, so like those fears kind of go away with stuff like that, I feel like, because I'm just familiar with like, the competition aspect and like I said, the discipline. So like when I had to get like 205 and I started at 240. Like wrestling, man, we did stadiums for stadiums. We did monkey rolls. We did stance motion for like 5 minutes straight. Where if you stood up, like you got to start over. So like we would like defensive stance and act like we're that kind of stuff.
That's why wrestlers walk around like that.
Yeah, because
we walk around like that all the time.
Yeah, because like if we stood up in a match, that's your sign that you're tired. Like boxing, you put your hands down, like you're gassed. So we would like train so hard that like we would never stand up because like we were so well conditioned. We can go 3 rounds and we can keep going. But wrestling definitely taught me how to. I think if it wasn't for wrestling, being self-coached, I think that'd be really really hard. Just because like the stairmaster in the morning off of 0 carbs and the training, and then you got to handle your work life. You're paying your bills still and everything, and then you got to train intensely. You got to go home and cook. Like wrestling definitely taught me that. Otherwise, it would have been like way, way, way more difficult.
So you have a hot date coming up and you look in your closet and all you see are the old, ugly clothes that you usually wear and you're going to wear tonight. It's time to end that, guys. That's why we've partnered with Viore Clothing, because they have some amazing athleisure clothes that you can wear in the gym when working out, but also clothes that you can wear on a date or during Hanukkah or whatever. You can wear these clothes wherever and they feel amazing. Some of our favorites are the Ponte Performance line, which has dream knit fabric, which literally feels so soft on your skin. But they also have this is the Rise tee, also soft, also feels nice and fits great. And they have a lot of amazing clothes that you need to check out to step your fashion game up. We're trying to help you out. Andrew, where can they get it?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys got to head over to viore.com/power project. That's VUORI.com/power project, and you'll automatically receive 20% off your order. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
You were mentioning earlier about some of these competitions wanting people to have a natural look. And then you were kind of discussing whether they're tested or not. And I think you were kind of commenting you weren't really sure exactly maybe what the rules are in terms of testing, but it's just really interesting because like a natural look
in the NPC,
like what does that mean?
So my goal as a natural athlete is to get a qualification for Olympia. I think that would be you never heard of that.
And the qualification is to win.
Yeah, you got to win a show.
Win a show.
We got to win a show. So I did after becoming pro. I did the Pittsburgh Pro. I got top 10, which was out of like 25 guys.
First pro show, top 10 is big.
And I number 9. So and that was a big deal because, and it was funny because when they called top 10, they're like Andrew, he didn't make top 10. Steve didn't make top 10. Kendahl, and I'm like. And these guys behind me, they're solid guys, man. I'm talking about like these guys are brick houses, like 6-footers. Like some guys were shorter. So when they called me and it was top 10, same thing when I got my pro card. I was like, me? And it wasn't like an inconfident thing. It was just like I just didn't see it coming. Anyway, so I got 9 on that one. I was really happy about that. And then I did the show in New Mexico, which that one day I didn't do too well in that one. So I heard about the Ben Wielder Naturals. I got DMs about it. Guys were telling me about it. Bro, do this, man. I know you're staying natural. Do this.
Yeah.
So I try to like, and then one of the guys that he talks about bodybuilding news a lot. He was like, hey man, you will win this show. He's like, he was like, with how you came in the past shows, and they're going for a more natural look. I was like, explain that to me. What do you mean like a natural look? He was like, well, I'm not sure if they test. But
they don't drug test, right?
He was like,
they're going for a natural look.
Yeah. So he said that they're not going for a Michael Dubal, Chris Bumstead. They're not going for an enhanced look. They're going for a more natural look. So he said, if I came in the way I did with Arnold, he said I can take that like pretty easily. So he was like, get that Olympic qualification. Go after it. And this is a big deal coming from a guy who published bodybuilding news, high following. So I looked at the past winners, and they did have it was a little more smoother, more lean look. It wasn't like this crazy enhanced, veiny.
So let's quickly just talk about what do you think is an enhanced look? Because people will still look at you and be like, you're on shit, right?
Yeah.
So what do they mean? What do people mean when they say enhanced look?
Well, I didn't realize it till in person when I was backstage.
Yeah.
And I saw how thin their skin it really was. Like it was just like
dick skin.
You can't pinch it.
Yeah.
Like I can still pinch a little of my skin when I'm not lean, but some of these guys like you can just it's just granite. Like it's just the texture of the skin.
Yeah.
They're just standing in line and their back insertions are like literally sunken in. Like it's just certain. Oh yeah, that was a little comparison video. So
this guy.
So he was like the Instagram phenom. He was like the guy that was like he made a Instagram popularity off of just having these crazy chest striations and bubbliness. And he actually competed. He played second in his recent show, but I just put that out there because I was just like, I'm not too far from that, just even naturally. And this was like that photo of me was like 2 years ago. And I was in the bathroom just flexing. And I was like, just one of those possibility posts where it's like.
So you are, Kendahl, you are very big, but you can. This is and we'll talk more. We need to talk about the natural thing, but this guy, like obviously, he's using some stuff. He has this thickness to him, that is just like it's an IFBB thickness. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, can you see it?
Yeah.
It's a very distinct like thickness to him. Very, very bubbly, very round. But his delt and chest striations are like stupid. Like when he gets pumped and stuff.
It's ridiculous.
So, and some guys thought I was like talking shit or something, but I really was admiring the guy. And I was saying like, like I'm not too far from that look, even naturally. Of course it's internet. Some guys, they can say what they want to say on the internet, but
is that guy's similar body weight?
I think
is he tagged? What's his
what's his name? Mr.
Unchained.
Mr. Unchained, yep.
Andrew, if you type Mr. Unchained, you'll see. Yeah.
I do think there is a difference. The natural guys seem like they can get really, really lean. They sometimes can even get almost leaner looking than guys that are enhanced.
Yeah.
But the guys that are enhanced, they get this like grainy look.
Yeah.
That's hard to like. It's really hard to put into words.
Yeah, and that's my point. Like, you can get fairly lean naturally, but there is a limit. Like you said, there is a limit where like you can't get too lean, too vascular, because when you are enhanced, the thin paper skin look does stand out. Like for example, even him, like that looks. You can just tell. Even when I'm pumped, like you can, you can't tell to that degree that I'm like on something. You know what I mean?
You have like people end up having veins kind of in weird places, and
exactly.
Even
his nipples, you can see in his nipples, like the slight like a gyno effect.
Yeah.
Right. But like, he's a really impressive guy, But I think it's really a beautiful thing when you see a natural physique that's proportioned similarly. It just flows because everything's even. Everything is like.
Let me ask you this, because I think like I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because like for example, if someone doesn't use PEDs and they train,
yeah,
certain body parts are just going to get so big.
Yeah.
if somebody starts utilizing PEDs and then they overtrain certain areas, there are going to be certain areas that are just not proportional because like if this is a guy who like loves to train back and biceps, but he doesn't train much chest, and then he hops on, his back and biceps are going to get much bigger, and his chest will not get that much bigger. But then that's where I think guys like Bumstead, Rough Diesel, these top dudes who obviously they use PEDs, but they're also very careful about training everything well so that their physique looks amazingly proportioned. You have amazing proportions too. You have amazing proportions, but you also don't use anything, right? So your body is like, and that's something that I was curious about with you. You managed to get your IFBB Classic Physique Pro card without PEDs.
Right.
And you've been training for a long time.
Right.
And there's going to be a certain amount of size that you're going to be able to gain. Like you will still be able to gain muscle as you get older, but it's slowed down, right?
Right.
So do you think about that? Do you think about like, okay, I'm an IFBB Pro now. I'm staying natural currently. But do you think about like, what if? What if you allowed yourself to, use PEDs?
Yeah.
Right now, you're in off season. You're 5'11", 240, which is extremely impressive. But if you did, maybe you'd get to 270 in your off season. Right?
Yeah, I get many DMs about guys who say like, what if you took, what if you were enhanced? What if you took PEDs and stuff? But the thing about it never really has crossed my mind though. Like I know like the possibilities are there. What guys are saying like you could be the next Bumstead. You can be the next guy to be Bumstead. You can be the next, And I think if my goal was intended to beat Bumstead or to like win Olympia, then yeah. But like that's just not in my mind. So like with me,
currently, you think it'll ever be in your mind to do that? Because like if you're at something like you're gonna do really well in these shows, and you'll even do well for the next few years. But if you want to continue climbing, like, do you think it's gonna hit your mind to do that? And it's not bad if it does. It's
I know,
part of the sport.
I know.
Especially at that point. It's part of the sport at the NPC level.
Especially if I keep doing it and like especially if I did the Ben Wielder and I win it and I get my old qualification. Yeah. Right. And obviously I'm gonna be standing against top dogs. Like because the Olympia's changed where like you have to win it to go to it. You can't you gotta win it or you gotta be like top 3.
In a show.
No, top 3 in Olympia, or you gotta win a show.
Okay.
So like Ramon, Bumstead, right? And then any other guy who has won a show. So it's not like a top 3 or a point system thing. They used to
do point systems.
30 guys are backstage off of points. When now it's like probably 12 guys who just won a show. Yeah. So who knows if it crosses my mind? But I mean, it hasn't over the years. But now that I'm in the big leagues, I don't really know. It hasn't yet. It might, who knows? But I think I've already created an image for myself that as like this natural disaster guy. And I get like DMs from guys all over who don't even know me. They just know me from my journey and what I stand for. And these guys write paragraphs about how I created hope and how like, how I created hope for them and how they want to, a lot of guys want to compete. They just don't trust to just do stuff. A lot of guys, they want to compete. They want to do a show in their town. That's NPC, but they're scared that, they got to take something in order to compete. So I'm kind of like that one pioneer that like guys are like, okay, you did it, I can do it too. And I'm talking about like paragraphs of guys like detailed, like saying like, how much like guys have been telling them they had to take stuff and they admire my work ethic. They admire that I'm on my purpose and all the words I say and that kind of stuff. And that the fact that like, they've proven to me that like it's not political. It's not, it's not like, because I thought it was politics too until I want my pro card. And these guys got coaches. They're branded. Yeah, they got their sweats, their jumpsuits, and I'm just there with a big black T-shirt and black sweats and unbranded. I'm just like regular guy, and which I like it like that. I like being kind of undercover. I like no label, no signs, just regular flip flops and shirt and sweats. So that's how I knew it's not political and like it's all about the best physique. Who had the best physique that day? Same with the Pittsburgh when I got top 10. These other guys are sponsored by big coaches that they can easily get that 10th spot. But I was the one that snuck in there. So they gave them hope that like, okay, I don't have to have this big coach and all this type of accolades and stuff. I can just be there, be natural if I want to, and just have fun and compete.
Well, and I'm curious about this because like one thing to think about is there's a reason why different federations exist, right? So like, for example, with the NPC, they don't drug test. And I think that like if you are a guy who's natural and you compete in the NPC, that's fine.
Yeah.
But don't get mad if you lost, and don't go in there and say like, because I've seen guys do this where they're like, I was competing against a bunch of guys who are on PEDs. Well, you chose to compete against guys who are on PEDs. So if you lose to them, it's part of that federation. Right. If you want to compete, like, and Sam Okunola, for example, has competed in the NPC before. He's done pretty well. Doug Miller has competed in the NPC and done pretty well, even though a lot of people think Doug Miller's on PEDs. But if you want to compete against guys who most of them are like, it's hard to pass drug tests in like the WNBF and those types of federations, then compete in the WNBF and compete against guys who are saying they're not using stuff and who get drug tested, so that you don't, if you lose, you don't have to have the excuse of like, well, these other guys were on PEDs, right? I do think that like, if you are going to compete in the NPC as a natural guy, the guys that do well have been lifting for a very long time.
Oh yeah,
but they also have like great genetics. Like, and the genetics thing isn't it's not a put down of your work,
right?
But it is like you have great genetics for the sport too, right? Like you have great muscle insertions. You have you have a great look to you. You look bubbly even when you're lean. You've worked your ass off. We can see you've worked your ass off. But there's an aspect where like you have a great build for this sport.
Yeah, and I realized that when I first competed, that I was like, okay, I think I belong here. Like it was like my first show when I did really well, and then I qualified for Worlds. And then I qualified for my pro card. Got my pro card, and then I got qualified for Worlds. So I was like winning shows, and I was like, okay, maybe this is something, because I didn't know it was my calling. I just did it because it was just fun. And then when I qualified for Worlds, and I'm like 21, still self-coached. I didn't know about coaches.
You're talking about WNBF Worlds.
Yeah.
So you were young, dude.
Yeah, I was 21. So on my first Worlds, I was 21. And I didn't know how to go about it. It was a big thing, and so it was LA. So many stuff happened wrong that week, and my meals flew out the plane, and I know, dude. It was so much stuff went wrong. I had to I had to find a way to eat fish and not cook it. It was just, I know. It was, I didn't know if I had to change my diet. I was like, okay, I've been eating this way for damn near 3 months. What do I do now? Do I just eat chicken? That was my first Worlds. Yeah, that's crazy.
And you won your first Worlds.
Yeah, I won it. Yeah, so I won the first one and my second one.
Yo.
So, and even here, I was like, this is freestyle, by the way. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just going based off what I saw on YouTube and stuff. And all my routines, I just kind of just flow with it, and it actually turns out really, really good. Like it's funny because I don't know, because my mind thinks about other things. But I'm like, oh, I can add this pose to it. So this is all just like literally top of my head, and same thing with this one. When I won it, I didn't know how to react. I was like, some guys were like, do you realize what you just did? I'm like, yeah, but I don't know how to react to it. So it didn't hit me till like I flew back. Then I was like, that's when it hit me. Like I was crying and stuff. But
Power Project family, if you're trying to increase your muscle mass, if you're trying to lose body fat, if you're trying to stick to your nutrition plan, if you're trying to get fit, pretty much if there's anything you're trying to do for your health, we know that sleep is the biggest determining factor to help you get from point A to point B. That's why we've been sleeping on 8 Sleep mattresses for probably more than 2 years now. And the main reason is the technology behind the Pod Pro. Now, the Pod Pro is like the Tesla of beds. It will change its temperature based off of how you're sleeping during the night. And if you have a partner that's sleeping on the other side, they can have their own temperature settings. We all sleep hot here, and I used to wake up in a puddle of my own sweat. Gross. That doesn't happen anymore because of the 8 Sleep mattress, and I've been getting the best sleep of my life. Now, if you don't want to replace your mattress, you can just get the Pod Pro cover, and you can put that over your current mattress to get all the benefits of 8 Sleep. But if you also need to replace your old nasty mattress, you can get the Pod Pro cover and the 8 Sleep mattress. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, you guys got to head over to 8sleep.com/powerproject, and you guys will automatically receive $150 off of your order. Again, 8sleep.com/powerproject. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes.
Bodybuilding is such an interesting sport. Like, I wonder, I would imagine that the way bodybuilding was set up from the beginning is that there was no testing.
Yeah.
And then I would imagine that, like, I think drug tested bodybuilding is like a newer thing. And I think that bodybuilding and steroids like go so hand in hand that I think the original bodybuilding was probably done with juice.
If you saw me walk in the back, I didn't know what I was because they were like, oh, you can walk in. So I'm like, okay, I'll walk in because like, I thought I lost it, man. That's why I was kind of like on the outside a little bit. And then when they called him and he was like, oh darn,
Like, huh?
he was like, darn. I was like, oh shit, yeah.
It seemed like he was like congratulating you on second place.
Even the way I'm walking, like I'm like unpresent. Like I honestly felt like I was like gonna get fifth place, dude. I just, and so that's what kind of hit me. That's when I was like, okay, like this is something big. And then the second world was when it was more special because I had to defend it. Mm-hmm. So guys were like coming to get it, and guys were like trying to like get me for the title, and so that's the one that like hit me like more with the second one. But yeah, that was the moment where he shook my hand, like, and like I said, I'm kind of unpresent. I'm present in the moment, but I'm not because I just didn't feel like I was gonna get that high. I felt like I was gonna get top 5 or something like that. So when I won it, I didn't shout. I was just kind of just walking up like, okay, like, but it didn't hit me till I flew back, and I was like, oh shit, I got this around my neck. Yeah. Like that's when it kind of like hit me. But
I just kind of wonder what the origin of natural/tested bodybuilding is. Does anybody know that? Like, does anybody know how long these federations have been around for? Because
I'm not
I would
sure.
imagine that at some point somebody just said, "Hey, this sport's getting to be fucking ridiculous. People are way too jacked. People are way too big." And at some point, it must have shifted to like a you know what I'm saying? Like it's just really interesting because obviously we had Arnold but bodybuilding is not even that old. Bodybuilding is not that old in general. So I kind of wonder, like it must have been a free for all in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then somewhere along the line, somebody got a stick up their ass about people being too jacked. And people being too big, and then they probably went into more natural.
And that's where classic physique came from.
Yeah, right.
Because men's open bodybuilding, the Nick Walkers and the Big Rammies,
The fridges.
Yeah, they're huge. So they literally created classic physique.
I'm joking, guys.
I know. They literally created classic physique to have weight classes, to have weight caps, so that guys weren't too big. I think natural bodybuilding just came from for the audience that they weren't comfortable taking PEDs.
Right.
Because there's PNBA, there's OC.
It's a business too, right? So
Yeah.
that probably helped the business explode, having classic physique and having natural bodybuilding.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Bumstead literally. The people say if he did men's bodybuilding, he wouldn't be as popular as he is now.
Right.
Because men's bodybuilding, obviously, he wouldn't be as big. But classic physique, it's more imposing. It's more on the old era with Frank Zane,
And the guys look good. I mean, let's be real.
Right.
Guys in classic physique have a small waist, wide shoulders, big legs, but they're not this mass monster.
They're not.
Right,
They're
right.
not. And they look. It looks fairly obtainable.
Athletic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks obtainable. Like, that's
I've never seen that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right? Like, that's honestly what bodybuilding should be, in my personal opinion.
I agree.
Right?
But these guys are on tons of gear.
I mean, yeah. Like, he's on gear, but at the same time, he looks good.
Yeah.
Like, someone would look at Chris Bumstead, or someone would look at you and be like, I like that.
So take gear, but only this amount.
Yeah. Don't spend $1,000. Spend about $800.
But
that is the sad thing about natural bodybuilding is that there are so many federations. Like
there is OCB, PNBA, and
NGA. Like there's so many
and
different
a lot
federations.
of great natural bodybuilders that people don't know about.
A lot of great ones, but they're all spread out. And there's all this type of like, I'm a pro in this, and I'm a pro in this. And it's like, well, that's why y'all are never going to really reach, sadly, you're not going to reach the popularity of the NPC because everyone is spread doing all these different types of shows in their specific natural federation.
And that's the thing. I didn't get big till I won the Arnold Amateur. That like my following went from like 15K to like 30K. Just
because more people pay attention to that.
Exactly. So even though I was 2-time world champion in the WNBF, I was in Jeff Nippert's video, and I was at a few other stuff, but I didn't get sponsorships or galore, or I didn't get notoriety like that. But when I won that Arnold Amateur, that brought me to the IFBB League. That's when I was noticed, because like the IFBB League is just a bigger league. It's just a bigger league. I've gotten like Rough Diesel followed me from that. A lot of pros followed me. A lot of pros mentioned me. Sponsorships have been hitting me up. Supplement companies, like just off of that show alone. Like that video when I pinned it, that one like launched so much that like that that brought me to so many other audiences that, like, unfortunately, natural bodybuilding couldn't do. Like,
you came in and won nationals kind of right off the bat. It sounds like your first one.
what?
The Arnold Amateur?
Yeah, the Arnold Amateur was my first attempt to get the card, and guys go years trying to get that card.
And
And I did the Arnold Amateur that was my first try to get the card, and I won it. So, yeah, that one got like 160,000 views. That one, so this whole string of collage like stuff got like so much reach.
And being kind of new, like you mentioned when you were younger, you were bullied. Like, do you feel like there was any of that going on in the back at some of these competitions where you came in and you were the odd man out, you were the new guy and you came in and won? Like, people were probably kind of pissed, right?
Yeah, I've always been that way. That's why I like coming in shows like baggy and just unbranded, because I've always been like the odd man out. Just, I've always been like the guy that's like, I was told I couldn't do things and stuff like that. Even though I looked a certain way, I've always been told like, oh, you'll never be a pro if you're natural. Like, there's always something to say, which is funny because it's like, like when I was trying to go to the Arnold Amateur, guys were saying I can't become a pro because I'm natural.
Of course,
like
not many people.
They wouldn't allow it because you're natural. You can't do it. So when I won that, now it's like, oh, you can't place top 10 in the IFBB, and then I did. Now it's like it's always something. So I've always kind of been that. I'm admired by a lot of people, but there's always like that group of people that are like, it can be envy, it can be a lot of things, like, which is the fact that like, they can't reach that level or something. I don't, I don't like feel bad or about anybody, or I don't feel like I'm better than anybody. I just love to compete. From wrestling to I just love to just be better and just reach new heights of myself. And I didn't even know I can reach this status. Every show I've done that I won, I believe I can win it. When I win it, I don't believe I actually won it. Like, if that makes sense. Like, it's because I always seek the outcome, but then when it happens, I'm not ready for it. Like, it's just something like
oh shit, that did work.
Right. Like after that second world title, dude, I was like, I did it again? Shit. Like, and then I got my pro card. Same thing. I was like, like, I really just did that. So,
why have you always chose to go without a coach? You coach yourself for all your shows. I think did you even coach yourself for your first WNBF show?
Every show I've done, I coach myself.
Why'd you choose to do it that way?
So I think when I started, it wasn't like I wanted to. I didn't know how to go about it with a coach. I didn't have connections like that. And then now with me and the IFBB, I actually would love to have a coach. I know a lot of coaches focus on PEDs and stuff like that. So it's like it's hard to find one in this league, but I would love to have someone like look after me and like and. Because, man, prep was harder because of that, because I would have to record myself every morning, record my mandatories, and I would look over it to see what's wrong, and then I'll record it again. And like, I don't like the way my back pose was hit that time. Like, I do it again. So I'm going based off of, like, my eye. And then same with my diet. Like, if I woke up and I was 212, okay, so I did this yesterday. Okay, my carbs were that. I had to, like, almost guesstimate, like, what the day should be structured as.
Yeah. So actually a question about that, because it's like, okay, yeah, a lot of NPC coaches like maybe Hanny Rambod and those guys, like they work with guys on PEDs, but there's still guys like, Jeff Alberts, Cliff Wilson. There's these guys that get like, you see Jeff Alberts, he gets dick skin lean and all his guys get dick skin lean. Cliff Wilson, same thing, right? Like seriously.
Yeah.
No, like it's true. Like it's fucking,
Yeah.
So I mean, these guys, they would still be able to get you like to super great condition. Have you ever thought of working with anybody like that?
Actually, I would love to kind of see what greater heights I can get to. I never actually thought about that.
By coaching yourself or by working with somebody else?
Like Bearcat or Alberts or Nipper or like I never actually thought about that, to be honest. Like,
really?
Actually, yeah, I never. I think I thought about like cuts and some like higher ups, but I never actually thought about like Bearcat or Jeff Nippert or actually I should hit him up. Yeah, I've always like knew what I did too in the past. Like me being a 2-time world champion, it's like and then me being an IFBB Pro, it's like I have a gist of how my body works. So if I would work with somebody, I want to see definitely like how far I can expand. But if I feel like my body's not progressing the same way, then I could be better off alone. Who knows? But I'm very open to it, though.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, from what I've done, I would see what else I can do. Like, what else I can achieve naturally.
It's interesting, though, because it's like you won't have the weight of having to do your programming, handle your diet, handle your water intake. And with all the data that you've been able to collect over the years of coaching yourself, if you hand that off to another guy who's like, hey, this is what I've been doing, this is how I looked at the end, and you just let somebody else handle that, dude, you might come in with you could.
That is true.
Don't get me wrong. I know you could do it great on your own. You have done it great on your own. You got your pro card on your own. You won 2 world championships on your own. Mm-hmm. But now, if somebody's overseeing that and you don't even stress about that, you just train your clients, do your program, follow the diet, like, bruh.
Yeah, I'm very open to it. I'm not selfish in the way that I wouldn't allow it. I'm very open to it. I would love to see how my ass can look shredded, you know? I've seen my ass almost to it, but I never seen like shredded glutes. I never seen granite. I never seen like cheese grater shredded type of glutes where I could put a cheese block on it and just you know what I mean? Yeah. Because somebody the guy that just became pro in WNBF, Kenny.
Kenny.
Yeah.
Fuck. What's his name?
Kenneth. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Kenny.
What's his Instagram? I want us to pull him up because he looked crazy.
Kenny on the third or Kenny
the third? Can you type in Kenyon the third? Kenyon. Just type that in. You'll see him pop up.
Yeah.
This boy.
Yeah, shredded ass. I mean, like, yeah. Like it's almost incredible how someone's butt can get that. Like that lean.
Striations,
there's no water. There's no extracellular water in the butt.
I always gave myself excuses. I'm like, it's because I'm black. I have a big ass. That's where I'm going to lose fat the last. No, you know what I mean? I think there's something to that, though.
No, listen, I got a big butt. So it's like, but listen, like, when's the last time you seen a black man with a shredded ass on stage? Shit. I mean, Terrence Ruffing has somewhat.
Ronnie Coleman, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, NPC wise,
but Breon Ansley, these guys, like, they don't have a shredded ass.
Do they not get shredded ass?
I don't think so.
You're the first person who I've heard call it shredded ass.
Look,
it's like, you hear ooh, damn.
That's a shredded ass, though.
Yeah, man. Zoom in on that.
Wait, go, zoom in on that and then go to his other pictures.
Bruh, bodybuilding is so homoerotic. The fact that we're like, zoom in on that dude's butt.
Mm-hmm. Dude. Look at those striations.
Yeah, he's the future for sure. He's been he came into the show last time, but he wasn't lean enough. But this time he got it right.
And he's also young, like 23 or something.
His coach is AJ Morris, which we follow each other too. Mm-hmm. And he came from the where did he come from? He flew down from,
I don't know.
Where's from the UK?
Yeah.
Or
but yeah, Mark.
I don't know. He had like that's like had to be like a few days of a flight to get down here.
This show was the WNBF Muscle Mayhem that this guy won. Kenyon is maybe 23, I think. He's a young guy.
Yeah, he's a young guy.
But that's actually the show that I won my pro card at for the WNBF. And did you win that show too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard show to win for a lot of people.
Well, I remember back in the day when we competed, we had like stacked lineups. That's when what's that guy, the other guy that's like he looks unnatural. It's not Sam. Was it Jeff? No, not
black dude, right?
No. He has a little beard or something or like a damn, I forgot his name.
This sucks.
But Ben something? I don't know. I don't know. But he was also like known for just being this abnormally unnatural looking guy.
Yeah.
That like we had some unnatural looking guys on that show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Beef. Power Project family, it is grilling season. Now, I really don't know much about grilling since I use an air fryer at home. My boy Andrew does, though. So, since it's grilling season, it's time to get your hands on some Piedmontese beef. We love those glizzies. We love that beef. Andrew, tell them more about it.
Yeah, guys. So, like you mentioned, they do have those glizzies.
Hey, yo!
For those that don't know, that's just a hot dog, but it's all beef hot dog, and it's amazing. My favorite thing to smoke is their prime rib, though. And, it's grilling season, so dust off those grills, dust off those smokers, and head over to cpbeef.com and at checkout, enter promo code POWER to save 25% off your order. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
Get your glizzy gobbler on.
Do you think the sport is natural, or do you think guys use a little bit of something on their way into some of these shows?
You talking about the natural shows?
Yeah, the natural shows.
Well, some guys were stripped from testing, like urine testing, and then it was positives. I've seen guys lose medals and titles from pissing out, where it was positive. So, so some guys do. This is why some guys say like, oh, you could do the what do you call it?
What, polygraph?
Yeah, a polygraph and piss in the cup, but you can still be unnatural. Dude, you piss in the cup, dude. That pretty much is like. That justifies a lot of things if you piss in the cup.
Yeah, it is true. I agree, but like there is an ability of some people to potentially cycle off, right? Mm-hmm. But you're still putting yourself at risk, right? So it's like,
even if you cycle off, it's like what? What's the gap? Like 3 months? I can't take gear and cycle off a week before the show.
Oh no.
And then be cleared off of it. It has to be like I think 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Which in that case I'll lose all my gains if I go 2 months without my boosted testosterone and stuff. You know what I mean? So
this is one thing that like
I just wonder like with peptides and like there's a lot of other stuff out there.
Yeah, and that's
now,
popular.
so.
That's like a TikTok thing or something. That's like a popular thing, that peptides thing.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're actually taking anything in particular. You're just taking peptides, but I think that's the same thing.
Yeah. I'm not sure about peptides personally, but like one thing is like for you, your body weight hasn't drastically changed over the years.
No, if you look at my first show and now, there's a difference, but it's not an abnormal like difference. It's like you can see some muscle maturity, but yeah, like there's no, you don't see anything. Oh yeah, that was like that was Worlds 2, and this was the Arnold Amateur.
So at the top
is Worlds 2
when you won the Worlds the second time, and then the bottom is
the bottom was the
Arnold
Arnold Amateur. Yeah, Arnold Amateur was a stacked lineup, man. It was a really, really stacked lineup. It was. I mean, I met, and I'm talkative. I'm social. I met some of these guys and got their social medias and stuff like that. That's what I like about bodybuilding too. It's like we all want the same thing, but then we're all there just as like humble, friendly guys that are just have a very competitive side. But then when the show's done and over with, everyone's talking, laughing. And, oh yeah, this. I made this post. This is like an evolution of my front lower bicep. That was like from the first show, first Worlds to like the recent shows. That was like the Tahoe show where I got and that was the main. I think that was, mayhem.
Yeah, Mark. Actually, one other thing to answer your question on like, do these guys use unnatural means to get there? At least the pros in the WNBF, they end up getting drug tested in the off season. So
Bob would come in and test me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like they're trying to pay attention to guys and find these guys in situations where it's like, okay, he's a bit bigger right now. Let's go see if we can find him. Then they won't give these guys notice.
No.
Like they'll just get on.
Yeah, he popped up in the gym out of nowhere.
Right? So like they do everything they can, and maybe some people are able to get through, but it's going to be hard for somebody to get through. And then if you get caught, you get stripped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, that's one thing I admire about WNBF is that they have crashed in and just like literally was like, hey, pee in this cup, just straight up. Yeah, and sometimes I can't go to the restroom, so I gotta get some water, and they watch me, like making sure like there's like nothing in the water, and like when I'm peeing, like I'm taking a piss in the cup, and they're like literally watching me, like yeah, like you can't hide anything. You gotta, even after shows when you piss in the cup after shows, the guy like literally watches you pee.
Yeah. So
like if you try to hydrate it or put water in it,
it's a great job to have.
Well, my thing is if I'm in trunks and I walk in with you, what's on me? Like,
well, you know, some guys,
like, you know what I'm saying?
There is a little machine thing that some people
come on
use.
now, really?
No, is that what it's called?
It's called a Wizinator.
Yeah. That's why they got to watch him pee, because like there's a little thing that people can use so it looks like they're
like a
peeing.
fake dick or something.
Yeah, but it's
No
like
way, dude.
yes,
Really?
that is why.
Yeah, I remember dudes back in the day trying to pass drug tests would put stuff on their hands, so when they would go pee, they would pee on their hand and let that drip into the cup, and so that would like essentially like bleach it.
Wow, people are smart, dude.
Not really, but
I've never. They pee in the finger.
Yeah.
So the whatever's
Like
on their
chemicals,
hand, it slides off of there. It hits it ricochets off of it.
cleans up the cup.
Wild.
That's different. Okay, so because I've always wondered why.
Like, why are you looking at me pee, bro? Like that's why they're looking at you pee.
And you whip it out, and they're looking at you. So I listen. I didn't know about this stuff. I didn't know you can put a fake dick in there. I didn't know about because they get you fresh off stage.
Yeah, I remember. They're like, come with me.
Yeah, so you're not going out to say hi to your mom and then come back. Like you're fresh off a stage. You're like, come with me. So there's no way I can even slice them in my. And my trunks are thin, dude. Like it's just my dick and that's it. There's no space in there for anything, bro. Like, so I'm like, you know,
I think it was like football players or something that did that. I can't remember. But.
Yeah.
See, they got all that pads and gear. Bodybuilding, I'm literally in a thong, dude. Yeah. Like what the hell can I possibly put in this shit? Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, like I don't know if you've seen it, but I have seen guys stuff their shit. Like stuff their stuff their posing trunks and get on stage so that their junk looks bigger. What? Yeah, people do that, bro. Like people be doing that.
I can see getting a little fluff, but stuffing it,
Stuffing it, bro.
Yeah.
This is completely random, but there was a guy that was like, he was competing and he got IG famous because his thing was just, it was
Poking out.
Is it Ulysses?
No, that's funny. No, but I guess
Type in Ulysses on Instagram.
No, but this
or Google it.
There's always eggplant emojis.
No, this guy had a hard on him when he was competing.
Damn.
So when he was
Now I'm gonna
competing,
search that up.
He really liked bodybuilding.
no, so he was competing. You know, trunks aren't that big,
Dog, yeah.
So you literally saw it. Like it was disturbing, and guys had to he had to be stripped from competing.
Because he would have a boner on stage.
They're like, this is inappropriate.
No, he's doing side pose, and you can literally see the side profile of it. It's like he had to get stripped from it, man.
Dog, that was actually an anxiety thing for when I did my first show.
Like, what happened to
Yeah, when I did my first show in like 2013, I was like, I really hope I don't get a boner on stage. Like,
Or it's like when you're a kid and you're like you go to the doctors or something. Like the last thing you want laying down is to get a freaking hard on it. Yeah.
that's the worst.
Yeah, I can't find anything on Google, but the first thing that pops
Ulysses
up
World?
is
Like
Ulysses
I'll
World
find
on
that
Google.
one. But
Just look at his images.
A
Yeah,
thread on Reddit about like, oh, what if I get an erection on stage? Like that's literally someone's concern.
yeah, bro.
I'll find you.
Kicked out, apparently.
Yeah, I think a kid got kicked out of school because he would. It was like an old story.
Yeah.
Every time he would come to class, he just had a big boner. Yeah. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. Yeah. Yeah, it's
This is where it might be convenient to have a small dick.
Come on. Ulysses.
Come on, dude.
Ulysses been doing this. And that. That's why I said him because like with him,
Like, come
his
on,
shit was
dude.
always like that.
Looks like he's got a fucking kettlebell in there.
No, and he's listen. I followed him for a minute. I done followed him,
about
man. No,
Too much of that going on.
No, because he'll be in a towel at the shower, and he'll be doing his hair, and the whole time it's like this. No, listen. There's something poking out the towel, dude. It's like you can clearly see it, man. Anyway,
Oh man.
yeah, like some guys just want that attention, I guess, to feel good about themselves. But you don't have to like come on now, like you know good about what you're trying to do with that.
You just love bodybuilding.
Right, and the caption be saying, stay motivated, stay driven.
And he's
Grind
got, like,
365, man.
and he's got like one of those water bottles that Andrew has over there.
Yeah, exactly. He's like,
Take
fuck
it off
those
the
things
screen.
called?
Yeah,
it's so distracting.
yeah, it's like stay hydrated. Bang on sale now for 20% off. Like it's just completely irrelevant.
Oh fuck, bro. Oh man.
Anyway, but
So a lot of people have been bullied, and we
Yeah.
hear a lot about bullying nowadays. But it sounds like when we have some people on the show that have been bullied,
Yeah.
when they get through that,
yeah.
sounds like you found wrestling and you found lifting. And
Yeah.
you found some things to help yourself feel good about yourself. Sound like it was actually kind of a net positive for you.
No, it was. I
go through that.
actually thank that time that I was bullied because it definitely ignited.
You're like, those guys were right. I was a little pussy.
Yeah, I was. And like but the funny thing is like years later, those same guys want to become buddy with me and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, you kicked their ass.
Yeah. So I think if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been ignited to be the better or be the best version of myself because I've seen the weaker version of myself, and because I've seen it, I didn't want to go back to that. I didn't want to go back home and feel like what's the point of me being here. And I would fake being sick, put the thermometer in the pot, and just take it out to my mom. Hey, mom, I'm sick. Just to not go endure that, type of thing. Because I would have days I wouldn't eat at school because I would just be, get my money taken, and I was like a vulnerable person, and I didn't defend myself. I was just kind of like just take it. Here I am. So it definitely ignited me to like to have more drive with like wrestling and sports and stuff like that. Because sometimes I did this stuff and I didn't know why I was doing it, but I always had this drive to keep going. And, in the back of my head, it was the fact that like I didn't want to go back to how I used to be and stuff like that. So when I became a leader in wrestling, it changed everything. Like the first time I got my hand raised in a wrestling match, like that changed everything.
Confidence.
Because I felt like, wow, I won something. Like I'm admired. People are cheering me on. Like I'm being celebrated over something. I never like felt that way before. I always felt like, kind of like the oddball. I was a middle child, so I wasn't, I was kind of like just independent already. Like I had like 2 little brothers, 2 older sisters, so I was like just me. So I think that also embodied me to become an entrepreneur too, just because like I've always never relied on people like that. But that definitely led me to like be a leader and stuff like that. So when I was wrestling and started winning wrestling matches, I just always wanted to keep going and see what else I can fulfill and my potential. And then and now I'm at the point to where I never thought I'd be in this position where like, even with my business being like, Coach K training and having clients admire you and testimonials on your website of people telling you how much you changed their lives. Like, and I was never I never changed anybody's life when I was young. I was if anything trying to change mine. And then that just turned into me building a community, whether it's bodybuilding, personal training, stuff like that. So it's really surreal looking back at it and seeing how this came full circle and seeing like how I'm at the point now where I'm just staying humble and just, always going for the next competition, the next goal, and seeing what else I can fulfill. Like this national show that might, this might open many more doors for me. So
how many weeks out is it?
14, I think, or 15, 16, 14.
15?
Yeah.
How long do you give yourself for preps? Because like
3 months.
12 weeks?
Like at least 3 months.
Okay.
So like 12 weeks is when I really start. 14 is like kind of like I get myself kind of like I'm doing faster cardio again, and I'm doing my Stairmaster in the morning. I'm more aware of the food. I'm not in prep yet, but I just set myself up that way when prep starts, I'm easily to transition into it. Yeah. That's a whole nother, when prep starts, like I'm in like monk mode. I'm not going out. I'm not really doing much that type of stuff. I'm just, especially when I'm like a month out, I don't do anything really. But I try to set my mind up for what to expect. That way when it gets 8 weeks out, I'm already fairly ready. I'm just maintaining and fine tuning because I don't believe in getting ready late. I've always believed in getting ready early. Yeah. And then that way my body, if I need to change anything, I can easily yield into it and transition without having to stress my body too much and hold on to water and, so.
You were mentioning maybe one day you want to open up your own gym?
Yeah, I would love to. It's definitely in the works. I'm not trying to speak much about it, but I'm definitely open to, like, I'm still building, connections and learning and stuff, because I would definitely like something like this where it's like my own little area, and I can make it my own, have my trainers work under it, and train their clients and make it to where people can openly train their people in and pay a fee like overhead and like build it from there. That's definitely like, because bodybuilding is like a side thing. It's not my main intention of life. It is a good profitable like business like booster. It does boost myself as far as like my business, but like my main intention is to get my own like gym and make a living off of that and build form from that, make it into my own and stuff like that. So that's my main intention with everything. And bodybuilding's a good outlet for it. Yeah,
I didn't know you had multiple siblings. Did any of your siblings take to sport or anything like you? Because I mean, like your brothers, sisters.
So my two little brothers, like one of them was into track, and then he stopped. Now he's more into like art and kind of like that aspect. Okay. My older brother, Evan has Asperger's. He's more of like, Evan's really he's a poet. He's really fluent in his writing. Really talented. He's more into like songwriting, and like streaming, And then my other sister, she like has a daycare for like kids with autism and stuff. And then my other one, she works like at a supermarket. So none of them really had like we all did like to some extent track, but none of them really had like aspirations as far as athletics. Yeah. My dad was like a track and field champion. Okay. He was state champion in track and field. 100-meter dash, all the hurdles, all that kind of stuff. So I think my dad is like my main. Like he's been to all my wrestling tournaments. Oh. He's like my one that like he's always said like, hey, just keep going, believe in yourself. Like, so if it wasn't for my dad, I honestly wouldn't be in any way like a believer in my ability, because my dad was there like in terms of like to embody like, hey, like like keep going, like believe in yourself. Don't like you'll be okay. Keep working. I had tournaments out of state, and my dad came to them. So he's always been present. He's always shown me that, like, I've lost in front of him. He's never reacted in any way. He was like, hey, okay, relax. Like you'll lose some, you'll win some. So he's like my main influence with everything. So
that's great.
Yeah.
How can people get a hold of you if they want to get some training from you?
At its_Kendahl, so KENDAHL. That's my main page. That's where all my stuff is, my private life, private inquiries, all that kind of stuff. Because I have my business page, but then my private page is pretty much where you can get a real hold of me. Because that's like, I run my private page. My business page can be ran by other people. Because like that's my trainer page. But yeah, at its_Kendahl, they can reach me.
Strength is never weakness. Weakness never strength. Catch you guys later. Bye.
I know you guys enjoyed this episode with Classic Physique Pro and WNBF World Champ Kendahl Richmond. So how about this episode right here with WNBF Physique World Champion Chris Elkins? It was a fun one. We had a lot of fun talking about bodybuilding, making muscle, building muscle, nutrition, all that good stuff. So click it. Go over here right now. You'll enjoy it. All right. Bye.